everyone, my name is Evie Lupine. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have another video for you all. Today we are diving into some unexplored territory for this channel, which would be dating apps. You might know I am kinky, I am polyamorous. Dating on normal dating apps is difficult, especially when most of them don't even have an option for my sexual orientation on the list. So I have some thoughts, I have some feelings. I have been trying out a new dating app that I might even be able to actually recommend. Shock and horror. But before we get into that, I do want to tell you all a little bit about my previous experience. So typically, whenever you all have asked me about a dating app to try as a kinky and or polyamorous person, the one that I recommend is OkCupid. And the reason why I like that one is because it is more geared towards relationships instead of hookups, and it does operate off of an algorithm. Not just people you swipe on, but also on questions and values that you have in your profile. So for example, if you answer like 500 questions about your religious values, how you feel about sex, open relationships, like literally everything, how you feel about pineapple on pizzas on there, I swear to God. And that really helps you get super accurate matches, not just to anyone in your area, but to people that you might actually be able to connect with on a deeper emotional level. And I still hold by that. I do think it is a good app. It does ask a lot of questions about open relationships. It does allow you to have an open relationship as a preference on the app. It does allow you to connect to a partner on the app. I do think all that stuff is really good. However, for me, I have been on there for 4 years now, and living in the same city that whole time, I have kind of ran out of openly kinky, openly polyamorous people that would be okay with a relationship with an ace person. So I had to look for newer, greener pastures. And that brought me to something called Feeld, which is Feeld. And I had this recommended to me by some friends as well as you all, and I wasn't really sure what to think about it at first. Let's go ahead and read the blurb from the company. They say, the first dating app for couples and singles, Feeld is a pioneer in enabling pairs to explore dating together. Feeld was founded by two people who inspired each other to change the world. Not sure about that, but continue. Daimo and Anna had been together for 2 years when Anna uneasily admitted she also had feelings for a woman. Unspeakable. Unsettled that something so human could provoke fear and confusion, Daimo created Feeld, a space where people like him and Anna could date as a couple and meet like-minded humans. Today, Feeld is on a mission to open up the future of human connection through normalizing sexual desire. Now, based off of that, you can tell this app was designed for people who want to date as a couple for either a unicorn or casual hookups of some kind. That is sort of the original basis of it. But it has expanded to be also for general ethical non-monogamy, kink, polyamory, etc. Any kind of maybe more alternative relationship style. And the way that I'm going to break down my experience here is let's talk about the good things first, what I like, and then talk about the bad things. So I'm not sure exactly how long Feeld has been around for. According to the description on the Play Store, it does have over 12,000 reviews, 3.6 stars, which we will talk about in a minute, and over 1 million downloads, which, considering how many people are openly poly, I feel like is a really big, impressive number. Now, we will talk about the 3.6 stars in a minute, but I do want to talk about, again, my positives with this app. So when you make an account, I really appreciate they have so many options for gender orientation, sexual orientation, the people you want to be matched with. So you could pick man-man couple, or woman-woman couple, or man-woman couple, or androgynous, or polysexual or whatever have you, right? There's so many options, and that seems like really low praise, but there are so many apps, so many websites where when they survey you or have you make an account, it's just like, still 2022 male female only options. Clearly humanity is more diverse than that, and we kind of need that representation in an app, I feel like. Now, they do have you put together a number of photos. You can put in any name you want. You don't have to have it connected to any of your other social media like Facebook, which I think is really good, especially if you are not out yet. So you can pick any name you want. I have seen a lot of people in the app that are literally like VK, Hot Couple 95. You know, you don't have to put in anything that's related to your real name if you don't want to do that. Also, unlike OkCupid, you can literally have anything as a picture. Now, they do have rules about the pictures, right? You can't have anything sexually explicit, no nude photos, no hardcore bondage pornography, right? Like, you can't have that kind of stuff, but it does give you other options besides, like on OkCupid, you have to have something that is basically your full face. And maybe if you are exploring polyamorous dating and you have like a high profile job, maybe you don't necessarily want to have something that can easily be identified with your workplace or have coworkers recognize you, maybe. So I think that is a really good feature. I do like that. It does lead to some hilarity, which I will also discuss in a minute, but I do think I like having that flexibility so you can show photos of like your baking, your hobbies, your pets. Like, I think all of that should be stuff you can have on a dating app, especially if you are not connecting to other things like Instagram or Facebook. What I also like about this is that while it doesn't have an algorithm to it, it does give you enough room for things like a description and then desires and interests. It gives you 2 sections, desires and interests, which you can fill in with anything you want. You do get to put in 10 in there, unlike Bumble, which gives you 5, and then you have to pay $20 if you want to add more, because they want to make me choose between empathy, dogs, and $20 apparently. I'll talk about Bumble also later as well, because I have opinions. But they do give you, I think, enough room to have a pretty detailed profile, as well as being able to have a good number of your desires and interests. Now, just to explain the way that Feeld works, I'm not going to show you guys my screen because that would out a lot of people that don't necessarily want to be out, but just to explain it, and if I can, I'll put some like example pictures over here. It's very similar to the way that Bumble works. You get to have an option to either swipe left or right. There is also a minus button or a heart sign that you can press instead to indicate that you either want to skip somebody or you like them. They do have a super like feature that is called a ping, and what a ping does is it basically puts you in a queue that somebody can look at even if they haven't necessarily liked you back, and they'll appear as like an orange circle in the messaging section of the app. And that allows you to go to somebody's profile and decide whether you want to like them and maybe start a conversation or skip on their profile. Now, you do get 2 free pings when you join the app. You can pay for more individually, and you do get a certain number of like extra throughout the month. I think you get like 1 extra per month when you have a membership. Not sure exactly how that works, but it's not like, again, like $20 like it is on Bumble. And basically you just scroll through and you get to see people, and you get to either say minus or you get to like them. And when you both like each other, that's when you can actually start a conversation. I really like how the messaging works in Feeld. It's my favorite, actually, even compared to OkCupid. I think everything in there is very well organized. It's very intuitive. You can send pictures, which can either be a minus or a plus. I've never gotten any dick pics through Feeld yet, thankfully, so that doesn't seem to be too bad, but it is a possibility. And I think something I really like with this as well is when you have a profile, you can have a profile as a single person, share it as a couple, or a linked account. And you can actually join basically like a group chat within Feeld if you do all want to connect within Feeld as an app to like share information and share pictures and things like that. So all of that I really enjoy. I think everything in the app is really well laid out. I do like all the features it has, and I think it's a pretty good mix between like You know, OkCupid, it's very dense. You can have really, really long profiles and have like hundreds of questions. This is a little bit less intense than that, but it's not as like shallow, honestly, as something like Tinder or Bumble is. So now into things that I have kind of like mixed to negative feelings about. So let's talk about the kind of people that are on Feeld. Now, this was started by somebody that wanted to do dating as a couple for a woman that found out that she was bisexual. And that is by far the number one most common thing that you will see on Feeld, at least where I live. Again, it varies region to region. There are a lot of people that are on here that are like, hi, our names are Zachariah and Bethany, and we've been married for 10 years, and Bethany recently discovered she's bisexual, and we're looking for a third that's a woman to explore with in the bedroom, to allow her to explore her bisexuality side from within our marriage. Or you get people that are just like literally like looking for a third to spice things up, like, or looking for a female, a femoid to spice things up, which is not my favorite phrasing, but they are open, they are honest, and they are not on the fucking lesbian dating apps bothering people if they are preoccupied on here. So that's a pro for me, because I know right away, okay, you can skip past those people. After that, you get people who say, and this was really confusing to me at first, they are in the lifestyle or new to the lifestyle. When I say lifestyle, I mean the BDSM lifestyle. Apparently, what they mean is the polyamorous / the swinger lifestyle, which is, I guess, I had never thought of it that way. Like, I've never heard anyone in polyamory just call it the lifestyle, you know? But it's a thing you're going to see in the apps. You get a lot of people that are like, hi, we're Zachariah and Bethany, and we're swingers, and we do soft swapping. Hard swap only with occasional couples. There are swingers on the app. They will usually say they are swingers. So if that's not your thing, don't worry about it. Really easy to skip over and skip past. After that, you start getting into the single guys, which, oh man. The single men. There's like 3 tiers. Oh my god. Please do not have this end up being clipped somewhere, but I'm gonna say there's like 3 tiers. Okay, so tier 1, blank profile, because Feeld does not make you fill in a description or anything else. Blank profile, just their age and their gender and any picture they want. For some reason, this includes a lot of guys that have pictures of the ocean or snow. That's the only picture they have. My name's David. Here's a picture of some ocean I may or may not have been to. No further information. Definitely going to be getting a lot of matches with that one. I don't know what the logic behind that is. Is it just to like scroll through other profiles and then like just peruse and like be a voyeur? Basically, what is the purpose of that? So that's like one level of profile. Then you have the guys that have like one photo, but it's like blurry in the background, look like it was taken from a camcorder in 1987, and it's like looking for gals for a fun time, or they're just a shot of the abs. It's just the abs. Sometimes the man butt, but usually abs, pecs, torso, and it's like, hey, my name's Brian. Looking for fun ladies for a fun time, winky emoji. Or just looking for unicorn emoji. Or my favorite that I saw, white guy, one picture, just abs. I'm a 6'3" triple shot of mocha, looking for a lady. Mochas? Do they come in triple shots? I don't drink coffee. I'm pretty sure he's talking about espresso, not mochas? What does that mean? What's that about? So yeah, you get a lot of guys that are just on the app looking for friends with benefits or casual hookups. You know, basically the same thing as what you would find on places like Bumble or Hinge or what have you. But because of how the site filters things, you can get away with a lot more risque stuff. So I haven't seen any actual just penis pictures, but what I have seen are dick outline pictures. Like, you get a guy that's like wearing a Speedo and it's like zoomed in as close as possible to the junk, right? Or it's a guy in boxers and he's like holding the boxers down in a way to like accentuate the outline. Or my personal favorite, it's a couple and their only picture is the gal holding her hand over the boxers to show the outline of the penis. Like, she's really proud of how big his non-erect penis is. Don't know who that works for, because you can't judge how erect a penis will be based on the size of the flaccid penis, because some people are growers and not showers. Don't know about that one, but it is a thing you will see, and you can report people for it. They do also have rules that you are not allowed to have phone numbers or kick or whatever else in your description on your profile. You're not allowed to have that. A lot of people do. I report them because that annoys me. But there are people that do occasionally break the rules. You will also see people that have profiles where the photo has been blurred out and it says like, this photo was removed because it was inappropriate or whatever. And I'm like, if they only have one photo and that photo was inappropriate, like, why do they still have an account? Why didn't they just get like banned from the app? Apparently, you can break the rules but still have an account on there, which is like, that's a little shady. But finally, I do want to move on. There is an actual like top tier of profiles for men on the app, which is people that actually have multiple pictures and details about what they want. And even if they do want casual relationships or do want friends with benefits, it's not just like looking for a lady for a fun time, winky emoji. It's like, hey, my name's Paul and I work as an accountant. I've been in the lifestyle for 5 years and I'm looking for someone to have a casual relationship with because my work hours and my existing relationships already take up a lot of my time. You know, like, it makes sense. It's description. They have interests. They're human people, not just disjointed abs in a picture, basically. So you do see people that have like meh profiles, but there are, I think, actually surprising to me, a lot of people that have really fleshed out, relatively detailed profiles that say what they want, say their experience, and having that just lack of ambiguity is really nice for me personally. So we've talked about the couples looking for unicorns, the swingers, the single guys looking for friends with benefits, and the guys that do want something casual but are explicit about it. What about the kinky people? Where did the kinky people go? Well, I will say that it has actually been fairly hard to find people that are like lifestyle kinky on this app. Now that makes sense to me because even if like 12% of the population engages in some form of BDSM regularly, only 1% of people, roughly, actually do it as a lifestyle. So even on this app, I'm not really expecting it to be a lot of people. I have found 2 people that were collared submissives that were actually wearing a collar in their photos. And I found, I would say, maybe 2 or 3 people that are what I would consider to be lifestyle dominants where BDSM is like a big part of their relationships. Most people you find on this app are gentle doms, soft doms, pleasure doms. Where do you guys think I found all these words from this app? This is how I found any of these things, what the kids are doing these days with their BDSM terms. So you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of people that like sexual BDSM. They want to spice things up in the bedroom. They like bondage sexually. They're into orgasm torture. Maybe they want to try chastity. I did see one person that was an ABDL, bless his heart. I wanted to message him just to say, I see you. I'm not a dom, but I'm proud of you and I'm glad you're open with who you are. Like, it's hard to be, I did see one pet player that had like a pet play mask on. And I did see some people that were doing like BDSM things in photos, which were borderline inappropriate. But yeah, it's mostly people that do BDSM sexually, only do it in the bedroom, not lifestyle people. But honestly, like, as long as they're open about it and that's where they're at, I am okay with that. What I don't want is to be misled that so-and-so has 10 years of BDSM experience, but what they mean is they've been jerking off to BDSM porn for 10 years, because that's not the same thing. So I'm okay with it not necessarily being a lot of BDSM-oriented people, because for me, I am looking for a BDSM relationship, but in order to have any BDSM relationship, I have to have someone that is okay with polyamory, okay with open relationships. So I'd rather have that be the focus first and then find people that are wanting to do some level of BDSM. All right, had to change my battery real quick on my camera, so if things look a little bit different, that would be why. But getting back into it, essentially, yes, most of the people that are on the app are not kinky. It is primarily for people that are polyamorous or open in some fashion, looking for other open people and or couples or swingers or what have you, right? You do get options for things like I'm looking for a dominant, I'm looking for a submissive, I'm into bondage, and you can use those things to search in your potential matches on the app. So you can actually search by a lot of different things. You can have an age range you search by, distance from you, and in particular desires and interests. So if you only want to find submissives that have that in their profile, you can do that. Now, one thing that I did find, because of the way that, again, matching works and how messaging works, is you have to both like each other before you can start messaging. And I did find through that there were people that were into BDSM that wanted to try it or were into it but just didn't mention it, that for some reason didn't have it mentioned in their profiles but did have it as something they wanted to try out. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that everything on the app is easy or it's simple to find matches and people you're going to be compatible with, because of course I am only speaking from the experience of an A-spectrum submissive polyamorous woman that is looking for men and women in the app. If you are a single man, if you are a straight man, if you are a married couple of 15 years, I don't really know what this experience is going to be like for you. I imagine that out of everyone, pretty much, except for the fact that I am explicitly against one-night stands, hookups, friends with benefits, anything like that, I imagine that hurts my chances of finding people, but otherwise, I'm about as open as I possibly could be for matches on the app, so I am, admittedly, kind of running this on easy mode, but it is still hard to find people because there is no algorithm and no questions to really refine like values and things like that. It does make things more difficult. Now, I would say compared to people that are on other things like Bumble, I said I was going to bring up Bumble again, most people that use Field where I live are left-leaning, at least liberal. They do have more of a shared value set by default, whereas like when I was on Bumble for like 15 minutes, it was all like guys named Tom that were accountants and Christian and wanted to have 5 kids. And I was like, why do I have to pay $20 not to see accountants that are Christian that want a good Christian marriage and 5 children? Like, what? Why do I have to pay for the right to not see people that I am fundamentally incompatible with unless I spend 20 hours training your algorithm to not show me those people? Doesn't make any sense. Seems like a scam to me. Your mileage may vary. Now, just because it's better than Bumble doesn't mean it's perfect. So I do have some nitpicks, some things I'd want to change. Most of them are technical issues. So for example, I have been using this app for about a week, and I would say that 4 out of the 7 nights I've been on the app, I have had some kind of issue with it disconnecting. My internet is fine. My Wi-Fi is fine. It just can't connect to the app for some reason. And closing the app and reopening it works most of the time, but not always. And it's always at night as well. That could be because they are overloaded or something else in terms of servers or whatever. I'm not sure, but it does have some connection issues. The biggest problem I have with it is it keeps logging me out of the app. I've checked my settings. I've checked all of the defaults, all of the other things that I have, and I'm not sure if this is a feature or a bug. But about every day and a half I am on the app, I'll have to log back in. But it's not like a regular logging back in. It's like a, hey, we sent a confirmation email to your email. like check it to confirm activating your account. And I'm like, I've activated my account 5 times. Like, why do I need to activate it again? So I'm not sure if that's how you log into the app normally, or if it's like booting me off the app for some reason and I have to like re-verify my account, which seems really weird and is a problematic bug. Now, the number one thing that I prefer OkCupid over for instead of this app is likes. Because the way that likes work is it doesn't have an option to show you who you like. If you get a higher tier subscription, you can see everyone who likes you, but not people that you've liked. And that's one of the number one things I like about OkCupid is sometimes I'm just like scrolling. I don't have time to send a message, but I want to send one later. So I go back through my likes and then send a message after I've had time to think about it, or I'm not as busy or what have you. But once you like someone on this, unless they like you back and you can start to send a message, it just goes off into the ether. So maybe you have someone that you like and they don't respond to you or like you back in a couple days. Maybe you would want to be able to have the option to send them a ping. And that just doesn't seem to be an option. Also, at the same time, when you are scrolling through your options, when you're going through matches or potential matches, if you click no on someone, if you swipe away, they can still sometimes show up back in your feed. I don't know if that means that they liked you even when you disliked them. I'm not sure how that works. Also with pings, anyone can send you a ping even if they are not inside your age range, at least. I'm not sure about gender preference, but with age range at least. So like I was getting pings from like 45, 50-year-old men, and I'm like, sir, I'm young enough to be your daughter. Why are you trying to hook up with me on Field? No, do not want that. So that is one of the negatives, is even when you are going through pings, you will see a lot of people that are like completely not what you want, right? It's like couples looking for a unicorn and you're not a unicorn. People that are way, way outside of your age range, that happens. But those are really like the main core negatives that I have for this app. It's mostly technical. I haven't had any issues with like harassment or inappropriate messaging. Everything that I have done in terms of like messaging so far, it's all been really appropriate. I think I found some really good matches on there. So I do think if you are willing to sort through guy with blank profile and like couples looking for soft swapping, there's a pretty high chance you're going to be able to find people that you are in fact actually compatible with. Now, I do think I recommend this app overall, but I wouldn't recommend it if you were just kinky. If you're just into BDSM and you're monogamous or would prefer monogamy, this is not going to be the app for you. I think I've seen 2 profiles of somebody that said they are open to poly but prefer monogamy. That's not going to be most people on this app. So I would stick to like OkCupid. I would stick to maybe doing personal ads on FetLife. This isn't going to be a really good fit for you. But if you are somebody that is poly and also kinky, I think this is potentially a good way to meet people that at least have a similar relationship preference or style, even if you're not necessarily matching with a lot of people that are also into the kink lifestyle. And especially compared to my limited experience with things like Hinge or Bumble or Tinder, I do think this is a good option for people that do want relationships and longer term connections. Of course, if you are someone that does want hookups, friends with benefits, casual play partners, a polycule to do board games with or whatever, like those are all also options on this app, and you might even be more successful with that, but it's not exclusive to something casual as well. So I think there's a good variety on there in terms of what it is that you could be looking for, and I don't think this is going to replace OkCupid for me. I would say there's actually, in terms of overlap between the apps, I would say there's maybe 10% overlap in terms of people that I matched with on OkCupid and people I matched with on Field. So I think you are going to see a different group of people. If you're in a small town or a small city that isn't very polyamorous, you might have different experience there. Oh, actually, this reminds me. Another issue that came up is, I would say about 2 days into using the app, I ran out of matches in my area. But then the next day, I had like a ton of matches. I swiped like 100 people probably. And so it goes through these periods every once in a while where it'll say you have no matches in your area, but then you'll check back and there'll be like a ton of people that are like 7 miles away, logged in 31 minutes ago, that are like right there. Speaking of that, you do have the option with the premium features of seeing how long it's been since someone was active. You can also use a dark mode. You can do other things with it as well. I never pay for dating apps. I know for some people it's totally worth it, but for me, not necessarily something I'm willing to shell out money for. But if you want to, I will put up the other features around here on the screen so you can know what those other things are that maybe you want to pay for that improves the experience to some extent for you. But yeah, I think this is overall a better experience for me than I have had on a lot of other dating apps. Like literally like Bumble, Hinge, things like that. Been on the app for 15 minutes, went nope, deleted the app. Like this actually is, I was surprised. I really didn't think I was going to enjoy this as much as I have actually enjoyed it and found it useful. I really thought with the 3.6 stars that it was going to be a really dicey experience, but most of the negative reviews are for the technical issues, which I think is because of an update they did recently, which is something called Field Cores, which is you have a location that you have set on the app, right? You can be in San Francisco, London, wherever, right? And that's where you live. You can change it, however, to other big metro areas. So maybe you're going to be going on a business trip to Chicago, right? Maybe you want to preemptively check who's going to be in Chicago, if you want to meet up for some fun, something like that, I guess. And you can change where your location is and what your field core is. However, that update seems to have generated a lot of bugs they have not fixed yet, which is, I guess, what app development is like. I don't know. So just be aware of that. There is some bugs here, and it can be really annoying. Oh, I have also seen demi people on the app, by the way. I did see some demi people. I did see some gray A people. They are on the app. Definitely, mostly people looking for sexual and romantic relationships, but certainly not the only option that you have on the app as well. So I really like that. I think that's a really good sign. And yeah, overall, my experience with Field is pretty good, and I don't really know what else to say besides that. You know who I recommend it to. Don't necessarily spend money on it yet, but it can be a good option. Now, if I think of anything else, I may add some extra bonus content in here for that purpose, but if I don't, let me know what you all think in a comment down below. I would just love to know your thoughts, your experiences, if you have ever used Field before, what you thought about it, any other apps that I should check out. And all of that being said, if you want to make sure to not miss out on any of my other videos and you have not already, please do subscribe, because I make videos twice a week about all sorts of kink and BDSM related topics. And finally, if you really enjoyed this, if you want to support what I do, the best way you can do that is with Patreon. A link to that will be down below. If you do already support me over there, thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me. And until I see you all next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.